Hello, I'm going to tell you a story about my series of unfortunate car events that happened to my wife and I over the year of 2025. As you can see, she's lost her head a little bit over the unfortunate events. Now, to introduce us, I'm a school teacher in West Phoenix, and my wife Anna is a substitute teacher, but right now she's a little out of work because she's carrying our wonderful baby. We also have three other wonderful boys to take care of, and we could really use your guys' support. So if you want to click on the GoFundMe link in the corner as I tell my story, fantastic. If not, just sit back, relax, and enjoy this show. So it all started with my Jeep that got towed. Here's what happened with that one. The Jeep had an alarm that was going off, and I couldn't get it to shut off because the Jeep had been broken into and the window had been broken, and the only way to shut off the alarm was to pull the fuse. Well, several days later, the apartments we lived at, the villas on Camelback, wanted to talk to us about Easter. Well, we went over and went to their Easter show, and we heard an alarm going off, and we pulled that fuse right then. A few days after that, the Jeep was gone. And when we went to go find out what happened, apparently it had been towed for the alarm that had been going off, but we didn't get towed till several days later. And when we talked to the tow company, they said that had been going off all night long, but we know that wasn't true because the alarm couldn't work at all at that point. So that was a little strange, but it kicked off a series of events. The first major event was when our Jeep got rear-ended. Oh, good thing it's a Jeep though. It's survived. We didn't file an insurance report on the little old lady that rear-ended us. We just didn't have the heart to go after her or be angry. But it was a little frustrating, and I had to fix the bumper myself. And there's a big dent in the back now. But wait, there's more. Then our poor Mustang, my wife's car, got hit in the tail. Well, a person merged into our rear end, and as you can see from the picture behind me, tore it up a little bit. Oh, that's not too pretty. My wife was so sad. But don't worry, I got it fixed right away, and it looked as good as new for a moment. On another drive, someone just flat out rear ended us from straight behind, and there was nothing we could do about that one. It's almost like we put a little target on our car when we put the word Mustang. I don't know. Maybe people were jealous of how pretty it was and wanted to make sure it wasn't pretty no more. Of course, after trying to get that fixed again, we ran into started getting some mechanical issues. We had a brake rotor go out, which gave us a little bit of a safety concern while we were driving, trying to pull the emergency brake as we parked. That that was a little scary. Fun though. Click that brake and unclick it as you go. Oh, as trying to slow down from 65 to 0 without hurting yourself. But we survived. And we went ahead and did some fixes. But then when we thought the brakes were good, our poor car overheated. So we took it to Rodeo Ford to get it taken care of. And when it overheated initially, I put in some old coolant that happened to be green from my old Jeep. Of course, that's not the right coolant to go into the car, so I asked the Ford dealership to flush the radiator out. You know what they did? They gave it back to me, said they'd done the flush, charged us $700, and then on the way over to emissions, the car overheated again. And when I opened the hood, green coolant was like seeping out the top. Turns out Ford uses an orange yellowish coolant for Motorcraft on the 2014 models. So that means Ford never actually did the engine flush or the coolant change. So on Rodeo Ford's part, they were a little stand up about it when we went to their manager and they returned our money, but it was a bit of an inconvenience. course, since both of our cars are down at this point, I had to borrow a pickup truck from my dear old daddy. Let me use a 1997 stick shift. And because it's a 1997, hadn't had the tires to change in probably since 2000 or so. Every Monday for the month of September, I got a flat tire on the way to work. It was like clockwork. So we actually went through 5 tires in a month, including the spare. So that wasn't so fun. I got to see some nice nights where I got to wait around an hour for a tow truck a couple of those times. Oh, wait, there's more. Now we got the cars back together from the wrecks and we started getting check engine lights coming on, but we couldn't do anything about it. Everything we tried wouldn't clear it. Eventually, we had where we had no lights on at all, but it still wouldn't pass emissions. And that's when I got myself a brand new PCM. That's a computer to go in the car. So to get a computer to work, though, you have to have the keys programmed by a locksmith. So my brand new computer was in place, ready to go. The locksmith's ready to go, and he decides he wants to reprogram the whole computer. I'm like, no, 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 no. Just program the keys to work. He said, no, I need to reprogram it to make it work. I said, please don't. He said, because it just been programmed by a professional company. I think it's called Flash One. Now, since I told him that, I thought it wouldn't happen. When I went in to get some water, I came back out and he was reprogramming the whole computer. Not only that, but he charged $364 when originally he said it was only going to be $200. So I guess this locksmith company was a little bit of a scam. Oh, wait, you think we're over? Nope. The emissions testing troubles. The Jeep failed emissions, got error codes galore. Here's one behind me, but there's several. And then, of course, the Mustang won't pass emissions. It says failure to test. It won't test for 3 times straight over the last 3 months. So we need to get some additional repairs. And right now, we can't afford all that. So I had to get my son out there to start fixing our car for us. He's the only mechanic I can afford left. Unfortunately, his skill level isn't quite high enough to fix every problem. So all this trouble is frying my brain a little bit. Doing everything I can, went to 5 different mechanics. Nobody, not even Ford, knows how to fix these cars or this Jeep. So I have 2 cars that won't pass emissions and is illegal to be on the road right now. At least I have insurance. I don't know how that works. Long story short, if you like my story or you want to help my family get a nice family vehicle to drive my new baby around and my other 4 boys, I'd appreciate it. Scan the GoFundMe link and have a nice day, guys. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate all your help. And even if you don't help, I appreciate you listening to me tell my story. I'll go into more detail in future videos.